Now, we've spoken a lot here before we see about crime and the often disastrous impacts it's having on our lives. And while the common theme among many people who have witnessed incidents of crime in their lives is that the problem simply isn't getting better, today I want to bring your attention to some statistics that now prove that. At the end of last month, the QPS released its annual report. Let me break down some of the major revelations. Queensland's rate of crime is going up. Per 1,000 people, the rate of offences against an individual rose from 12.2 to 14.5 in 12 months. Property-related crime up from 44.4 to 51.7 per 1,000. Percentage of young offenders who are found to have been charged for a separate crime at the time of committing an offence, 69%. Those are the repeat offenders. As for safety, we all feel less safe than we did years ago. And just 29% of people feel safe enough to travel on public transport alone at night, compared to 31% in 2021. Now, Bond University criminologist and former detective Terry Goldsworthy, he's taken a good look at those figures. He's on the line with me now to discuss them more. Terry, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, hi, Peter.
What do you make of those revelations?
Well, there's nothing surprising. I mean, I crunched the figures back in August, and it showed that we had a 15% increase for the last financial year in personal crime, a 14% increase in property crime, and total crime in Queensland, the rate had risen 11%. So crime is on the rise this year as it was the year before, so nothing's changed there. Some of the interesting stuff in the annual report is that the perceptions of safety of people has declined. And that is interesting because often perceptions don't match reality, but what we are seeing in Queensland is that the reality is that you are less safe in Queensland in terms of personal offences and property crime.
Terry, I want to talk about ankle tracking bracelets, which the Premier lauded them as part of this miracle solution a few years ago until we found out just 6 people had them fitted. Do you know how many people have those ankle tracking bracelets on now?
I'm reliably informed from someone who listened to the police minister at a community crime forum in Toowoomba last week that we have 6 people with electronic monitoring devices in Queensland as we speak. So to put that in perspective for your listeners, the Atkinson review, which came out in early 2022, made mention of 6 trackers being issued. So I don't know if they're the same people, different people. I don't know what the total number issued is, but, we've put almost $11.5 million aside for these trackers. And if you look at the low numbers, like 6 trackers, and we've invested $11.5 million, we're not getting much bang for buck. And we were promised that there would be up to 100 of those trackers out and about. And given the fact that we've got 450 or thereabouts serious repeat offenders, I would have thought we could probably do better than 6.
Honestly, that, Terry, and I'm going to be a bit partisan here, so you don't have to buy into this, but that says everything about this government. That says everything. They throw money at a problem to get a soundbite, and then they don't follow it through with the right policy and the right outcomes. And it's not just endemic to crime, it's every particular instance that we see here on this show. Now, I also want to ask you about the Premier's latest $200 million youth crime package. That includes a reset of the cap for victims' financial assistance and the new youth detention centre plan for Waco. What do you make of all those announcements? Is it too little too late?
Yeah, look, I mean, it has taken a long time to come out. I mean, the youth detention centre is obviously something they're scrabbling for because despite the fact the police union supported it, I think most of the police are aghast that you're going to have juvenile offenders placed in watch houses for extended periods of time. So that is good. I mean, the victims getting more, I think, is a worthwhile cause. I mean, we need the victim services are there to restore people to where they were before the offence. So if there's more funding to achieve that, then that's a positive. But, there's a couple of things going on with youth crime in Queensland, and one is attacking, the laws and legislation and the government responses, and they've been quite lacking for a number of years, and we're now playing catch-up. But I think there's also some issues within the Queensland Police. I mean, if you look at agency engagement, which was in that, the annual report released last week, it has declined substantially in the police to 46% of personnel feel engaged with the agency. They feel pride in their service. And that reflects the Working for Queensland survey, where only 29% of the police had faith in the senior executive leadership group. And about 50% of the police surveyed, and it was a large survey group, indicated that they really only thought they'd stay another 2 years in the service and were looking to leave. So there are some serious structural leadership issues in the Queensland Police that haven't been addressed. On the back of things like the DNA inquiry, the DV inquiry, rising crime rates. We're just not seeing the government look at, do they need to have a change of leadership within the QPS? Because I think that is one of the issues that should be examined.
Just quickly, Terry, that sort of strikes at the heart of policing numbers and the ability to retain police. Again, we only heard from the Premier in the news 10 minutes ago talking about, how they were hoping to get record numbers, and there's stories on the Gold Coast every day about Southport Police Station reducing numbers. How are the numbers?
Yeah, look, I speak to police regularly, and their indications to me is that the numbers are not better, they're getting worse. Some of the stations are flat out putting cars on the roads, is the information that they pass on to me when they're speaking to me. And, if you've got, the problem is, Peter, if you've got rising crime, more crimes being committed. The other issue that we found out from the annual report is that the clear-up rates where people are arrested for the offences have declined across personal property offences. They've also declined across personal safety offences. So what's happening is you've got more crime being committed, less crime being cleared, so it becomes less risky for the criminals to commit more crime. So it's what we call the high-volume crime circle. And where you solve less, they commit more, and it just keeps on compounding itself. And when you've got less police to respond to those things, it's just going to get worse before it gets better. And that's why, I think one of the elephants in the room is the leadership of the QPS.
Terry Goldsworthy, always great to chat on 4BC Drive. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Peter.
There is Bond University criminologist, former